Are you okay?
Yeah.
You gonna be burping? Hey, do you want to try this shit?
Yes. Oh man, I did drugs last Sunday, and I've had no serotonin ever since. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm in like a horrible place psychologically, so I'm like, I don't know if I need more different stuff or to not add more.
Level out.
Yeah, exactly.
What I'm taking is, how do you say it? Theanine?
L-theanine.
L-theanine.
You want one?
Yeah.
One.
Promotes relaxation, healthy vascular function.
Oh, don't listen. The copy is always fucking woo-woo
Ooh,
bullshit.
wait. Am I gonna look like vascular as shit?
No. You have to lift weights for that, sadly.
I did that this morning.
Yeah?
And I don't look vascular as shit.
You can always tie off and just not do anything about it. That's another good strategy.
You trying to look veiny?
Hell yeah, I'm trying to look veiny.
Oh man, that's a bad look. I hate that look.
That's one of those things that
You
men...
don't like that look?
No, I hate seeing people's veins.
Vascularity is something that men compliment other men on all the time, and no women give a shit.
I think if anything, it's a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a body. It's like
I want
your
my
body fat
forearm
is so
to
low.
look like a cock.
Yeah.
That's what
I don't even love a veiny cock. Like I'm like
you
if they're there.
a chubby like wears a t-shirt to the pool dick.
No, I just don't care if I could see the veins on a body part.
I mean, I think
I'm going to sound like a teenage boy the entire time.
That's fine.
I lost my voice screaming in my own car about hypothetical situations on Thursday night. So,
What were they?
one was, okay, this is insane. I think I'm PMSing. One was if I was super pregnant and sick and Jeff tried to go to an open mic when I couldn't. That was one. Because sometimes I think about getting pregnant and within... Like, if I'm actually thinking about, like, do I want to have a baby? Within 20 minutes, I think about, like, how mad it'll make me that I won't get to do comedy.
So if you got pregnant,
Why?
you'd want Jeff to quit comedy.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's not fair that I'm really good at this, and because I would probably feel too sick. And also, it's really hard for me to be in, like, I have, like, a lot of anxiety at bars. So, I mean, not diagnosed, but, like, I feel and that's why I drink.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I just feel like it'd be really hard to be at bars pregnant, especially if I felt like shit.
Yeah.
And then once I have a kid, I definitely won't be able to go because I'll be having to take care of the kid. And then if Jeff tried to like switch off with me, I'd be like, fuck you, because undoubtedly I'd end up having to stay home more because I'm the one with the breast to feed it. Anyway, so
I don't know at what age it started, but I know me and both of my sisters were bar kids because my dad was a musician and my mom would go too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's good.
And that was back when you could smoke in bars, so that's probably why I'm 4 feet tall.
I was a bar kid, but like only because it was just normal to take kids to bars in New Orleans, and I did Irish dancing, so I started performing in bars when I was 5.
Did you wear the crazy wigs?
It was to feshes. That's what the competitions are. My mom would curl my hair and stuff, but not like it was like pageant girls. It was like Jean-Benet Ramsey, but like if she was into anime and homeschooled. Yeah.
Wait, are you part Irish?
Yeah.
So you're descended from slaves?
I told you someone called into NPR with that the other day. The crazy Irish people that are like, did I already say that on the podcast?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe the episode that we're
just gonna scrap.
throwing in the trash, yeah.
That we were joking about it together in the group chat, I think. And then on NPR, they only had time for 2 callers. They were talking about reparations, and they had like 2 black professors. And then one of the callers was like, Irish people were also slaves.
Right.
And it was like, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that. It gets debunked so often publicly.
Yeah.
People just keep believing it, but whatever. Yeah, Irish people are terrible.
Are you Irish?
Yes. Half.
Oh,
Good.
cool. Yeah.
A good half.
My mom's maiden name is Maloney.
Yep, Malloy.
Oh.
McGarry.
Yeah.
But I think not actually Irish. Someone in my family did like one of the like you send your DNA to a company so they can steal your soul. Send it in, and like the narrative was that we were Irish, like every white person in America, and no, we're not.
Oh, you got Elizabeth Warren, but for Irish oppression.
Yeah, and even lamer kind.
Yeah.
I mean, less performative. No, maybe equally performative. Those people are horrible. They have parades. They shouldn't have parades.
Irish people?
Irish?
Yeah.
I like a St. Patty's Day parade.
You?
Yeah.
What do you like about them?
The alcohol.
All right. I like
And the
getting hit in the
parade.
head with a cabbage. That's
I got hit in the. Actually, cabbages hurt way less, in my opinion, than like bags of beads. Mm-hmm. But I did get pummeled in the face with a bag of beads because I didn't have any arms because I was holding a bottle of champagne like a baby.
The dudes at Endymion this year were crazy with the, like trying to hit people with bags of beads.
I would rather get hit in the face with a bag of beads than just try and catch a single strand of beads. That shit stings.
I
hate
that. I love not getting hit.
I'm like a coward.
No, I love actually catching it. Not
Yeah, no,
getting
I love catching shit.
hit. You don't.
I don't know. It's all just trash. I feel like it weighs me down mentally.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I hate once I have it, but I love to catch it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's very fleeting.
Dude, so you guys should date Susanna because she's perfect to have at a parade because you catch something, which is the fun part, and then you don't give a shit about it, and then you hand it to her, and she goes, "For me," and then she tears up.
I saw this happen.
Yeah.
I
she
try
got-
to do that. I used to like give beads to kids, and I feel like they would be like, sometimes they would like it, but now they're like, I got a whole wagon full of beads, bitch. I don't need you to unload your garbage on me.
I don't
I'm
know.
here to catch.
I honestly don't understand why people go to parades when they can just buy some beads. Just go to the store, buy some beads, go home.
Because of the parade.
And get drunk.
Because I like the parade. Like, I don't care if I catch beads, but when I do, I'm like, this is fantastic. But, like, I don't care. But I just like to, like, hang back and drink on the street with friends and, like, eat, hot dogs and stuff.
And then
Yeah, I like the element of danger that like people are throwing
hate
stuff
it.
at you, and
Yeah.
it makes you got to be present. That's why
Oh yeah, it's like meditating.
it is.
You're
It's
in the-
like
you have to be in the moment.
Zen monks that come up and hit you in the back of the head when you're meditating, and if they get you, you weren't meditating hard enough.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's like a Zen
Wait.
practice.
But if they come up behind you, how are you supposed to?
You're just supposed to be that fucking Zen.
Wait,
that
you're supposed to dodge it?
Yeah,
Oh, that's so cool.
I know, it's really cool.
I love that. I want to be a monk.
Yeah, Zen is like the military for Buddhists. It's like you gotta it's like really intense and not fun because they don't like believe in an afterlife.
Yeah.
So they're like, you have to do it right now.
Right.
Or,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you are suffering.
Yeah.
I could use that shit right
The
now.
only thing that has kept me from spending a long time at like a meditation retreat
is
that
that you're bald and it would be too like people would be like looking at me.
keep going. No, yeah.
No, yeah. I mean,
No,
you just
it's-
look like you're trying too hard.
No, it's because I'm so inflexible that I can't like kneel or sit on the ground.
You can't
I don't
kneel.
think they all involve your body.
What's that?
Right? Like you can go to like a silent retreat, or there's lots of like meditative ones where I don't think you have to
Yeah. But
stretch.
I think I would want to do like a zazen like sitting thing. And like
Zazen?
Yeah.
What? I don't know what that is.
I think that's just a sitting meditation,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
uh-huh.
But yeah, so like I've tried to use a meditation bench before, and like my butt doesn't get close enough to my heels to sit on a
Oh my God.
bench. I can't like sit with my feet out in front of me without being at like a. I'm like made of glass.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
I've done Vipassana a couple times, which is like 10-day silent.
the breathing one, right?
Yeah, it's breathing, but you're completely still. You don't open your eyes, and it's like 10 straight days of doing that with like nothing else. And part of it is that it's going to hurt extremely bad, and like getting over it.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay,
It's
so
not like supposed to be like asceticism, but it's just sort of you focus so hard on everything happening to you that you realize you have control over it.
Wait, what hurts? The position?
just sitting all the
Not
time.
moving.
Yeah.
Whatever position you're
But
in.
doesn't it have like long-term bad effects?
No.
Yeah, sitting is the new smoking. It's a smoking retreat. You just sit there and smoke.
No, I don't mean health. I just mean like
That's France. That's just
doesn't
the
your
country of
body
France.
hurt? Is what I meant.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That sounds.
Well, I mean, it hurts
horrible.
for me. Like
You can stretch afterwards.
if
Oh.
I sit like cross-legged on the ground, my knees are like around my ears. It's fucking. I have a bad body.
You need to just slowly stretch it so that you don't become immobile.
I've tried.
Really? Like a little bit every day?
I'm extremely special, and nothing can fix this. No, I think I would do yoga if I wasn't afraid that like people would pay attention to me. I have
they
that
won't pay
thing
attention to you.
I
mean, you do look like the guy who would come into a yoga class and I'd be like, oh, of course that guy's in a yoga class. Although I've only been to one.
See, you're trying to make me feel better, and you're like, you know what? Now that I think of it, I would hate your
No,
fucking guts.
I wouldn't
if
hate
came
you.
into a
I would be
yoga
like,
class.
it's kind of adorable how much he looks like he would be in a yoga
I
class.
know.
But that's not a bad. I wouldn't be like, oh, that guy's a pervert.
So for me, the option is
People would definitely. I mean, like Especially because to do any physical activity, I have to put my hair up. So man bun, mustache.
Yeah, but you're handsome enough for people to be like, he can jack off. It's fine. Like for me, it would be like I can either sit in the back and everyone thinks I'm a pervert, but no one can see me, or I can sit in the front and everyone can see me, but no one thinks I'm a pervert. It's
I wouldn't think you were a pervert. I think you look too nervous to be like to go for anything.
I agree. I don't think you look like a pervert.
You're too much of a coward to be a pervert.
And also, I do think that, like, other than the few people like me who do look around, I think, like, before the yoga class, people are not doing yoga, but during the yoga class, people are all focused on their own shit. They're not thinking about you at all.
I give so many people this advice just about the world, where it's like people are not paying attention to you.
Especially in a yoga class, though, because everyone's just trying to not fall down in a pool of their own sweat while they're standing on one leg.
Yeah.
Like they're,
I feel like the gym is the same way, and I can't do it because I got more issues around like masculinity than I do around, I don't know, I guess being perceived as a pervert.
It took me years to be able to go to the gym comfortably. But most of that was
because we were both raised weak, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
We're both
Tippy
weak
coming
men.
in to ruin the pod. She's just crawling underneath the wires.
You know, beautiful cat.
We should just put her on mic one of these days.
Does she meow?
Dude, she yells.
So does Rory.
She will run through the room while meowing. So she's like, it's like meow, meow, while she's patting across the room.
I didn't realize because I was asking Susanna that you were deathly allergic of Tippy for the first couple months.
Yeah. We almost had to put her down because I was so allergic.
What?
I'm kidding. But no,
Just let her live across the street with the 80 other cats.
I I was so allergic to Tippy when we first met that when I slept over, I would have to take like 5 Benadryl, and so I would just like show up and then go to sleep immediately. And like even when we weren't in the house, like I couldn't like.
Is that how you won her over?
Yeah. Your cat is killing me. That's very charming.
No, just being a sleepy guy. It's like, well, he's not saying anything shitty.
So chill,
Yeah.
So chill. He's asleep.
But like, and like, if her hair touched my face, I would sneeze for like the next 20 minutes. And like, when she came over to my house, this is maybe TMI, but like before she got into my bed, she would have to like take off all of her clothes. And like, because it would ruin my bed for like the next month if she didn't. Yeah. So that was convenient.
Well, that's how I feel about your cat, that she's staying at Sam's house for a month. Right?
What's that?
That's how I feel about your cat. Like, I am deeply allergic to
Really?
Oh, you are?
I'm so
How do you
sorry.
feel right
It's
now?
okay. No, it's good. I just, I have allergies, so I blink a lot. But everyone just thinks I'm confused a lot of the time. I have prescription eye drops, though. But, no, it's going to get good, like, in 15 minutes. Ooh, what's this?
Do you fuck with nasal spray?
Yes.
Changed my life. Do you take it every
It's
day?
mostly the eyes. No, it's really just the eyes. But I'll try it when the time comes.
That shitty dude I've mentioned before, Nathan, who owned the first moving company I worked for, actually the second. His cool brother who was dying owned the first one. Sucked. Wrong dude died. But anyway, he was like extremely allergic to cats. And we would be moving people's furniture that had cat hair all over it. So he would just be walking up like flights of stairs with like cat hair in his face, completely blind, and he was always screaming.
Oh, no.
So he would just be like having his eyes closed, screaming, carrying a couch up the stairs. People would be like, "Is he okay?" I'm like, "No, I don't like him, but you know, he's fine. Just please pay us at the end of this."
Jeff Gaucher has requested that we turn off our phones before we record, so everyone...
Yes.
Did you turn
Mine
off your phone?
is charging in the other room.
Why?
Because when it makes a ding sound, it
Everyone
makes
who
him think.
listens
I thought that was just
thinks
your
that they're...
laptop.
Nope.
It made the ding sound.
Actually, it does do that, though, so I should probably...
Yeah.
I mean, I always put it on silent, but no.
Yeah, it's fine. If it buzzes, that's fine.
Yeah, I think that... I
No,
think
it's on like no.
Oh, yeah.
the panic that sets in when you hear a notification on your phone,
Right.
but then you realize it's not your phone.
Especially if it were like Slack or something. Like, I'm like listening to a podcast on the weekend and then you hear a Slack notification. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope whoever's listening isn't trying to accomplish anything or thinking about anything they have to do.
My work has a Slack, and Claire was like, "I've never seen you on there," and I was like, "No one told me we had one." And
Stay
then,
off of it at all
yeah,
costs.
I mean, I logged in and it was set up, and no one ever. I'm like, "Are y'all just talking about me behind my back on Slack like the entire year?" But oh well, it's fine.
I mean, that's what Slack DMs are for.
I think that they thought that maybe it wasn't public record if it was Slack, but it is.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not official. It's just for
It is official, so I guess it is public record. Claire was like, I think maybe people are more loose on there because they don't know if it's public record. Not like super loose, just like so and so was being annoying.
Yeah.
Like we're very afraid of what we say in professional communications because if anyone ever audits us, we have to like look at our coworker and be like, I said you were
a
rude.
stupid bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel weird because I text with all of my clients and
You
their
can
parents.
text. Oh, yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know what trouble I'm going to get into, but I always feel like someone's just, I don't know.
I think
do you
that's
do?
very common. Though.
I'm a social worker.
Cool. Like
Yeah.
for kids?
I work at the juvenile public defender's office, so like court involved youth. Yeah.
Word.
Yeah.
Doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
extremely stressful.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes I want to break my phone because that's how I communicate with clients and with my coworkers.
Do you have like? Do you ever feel like you're off? Like, or if you get a text, you kind of always have to be.
I can choose. I mean, often I choose to not respond to it. Like, I can't pick up every phone call. Like, I
Right.
could never have a conversation with someone if I picked up every time someone was calling me. But
Right.
it does feel like. I mean, there have been situations when I haven't been at work, and then
You have to judge.
like I'm glad I responded to incidents. Those are like few and far between, but it does feel stressful.
Yeah.
Continuously.
Yeah, it's we live in a horrible time that like we're just accessible to people always. Everyone knows that. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I'm like so grateful if a kid in crisis like wants to reach out to me. Like, I'm glad they reached out to
Right.
an adult as
Right.
opposed to, or like an adult who has good intentions for them.
Right.
But
Yeah,
it
I'm
also
never
feels
doing
like-
anything helpful for anyone though. And they're always asking for like a very reasonable favor, and I'm like, oh, I didn't see it.
That's not
don't
true.
know,
That's
man.
not true.
I spend the first half of my day. I leave my phone at home and I like go for walks and shit and I work or whatever because like I don't want to be. And I think all the time about getting mugged and not having my phone and being like I don't have my phone and then being like fucking bullshit, dude. And I'd be like, no, I just. It's important for my heart that I not have my phone.
That's why you're gonna get murdered.
Well, they'll either murder you or they'll be like, show me the way.
Yeah, last night I was at Marky's watching basketball, and people were complaining about work, and I was like, yeah, man, work sucks or whatever. And then I had like a work emergency that I had to go handle outside, and when I came back, they were like, what was it? And I was like, oh, somebody scheduled a tweet for the wrong time. That was my work emergency. So then I shut up for the rest of the night.
Yeah, the other day it was just really busy at work, and
where do you work?
I work at Pagoda. I'm about to snitch on myself too. Yeah, so it was like really busy, and I just wanted to get away for a second. And you guys were like blowing up the group chat, and I was like, I just got a bunch of really important text messages.
Yeah.
Walked away to talk about like someone's butthole or something, whatever we were talking about.
Yeah,
It's a lot of butthole talk.
The supplement that I just everyone at the table just took when I take it with caffeine makes me really manic and like jokey, and I just like blow up the podcast group chat for like an hour. It must be extremely annoying. But
I'm
like,
drinking this matcha. You didn't warn me at all.
oh no, it's good.
Yeah, I'm drinking coffee. You didn't tell me. I don't want to do any fucking jokes.
No. I mean, like it's good. It's fun. It's like a
Nell, I almost got a spit take out of you, and that would have made my fucking week. God damn.
shit. I made a
All
really,
over the mic.
I made a good joke last night, but I can't remember what it was. But somebody did a spit take, and it was awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But I don't know what it was. So.
Spit takes in real life are like absolutely the most satisfying.
Yeah, it's
thing.
like
Yeah.
getting retweeted by God. It's like it feels fucking yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Where'd MD go?
That was the best thing you could think of.
What? Getting retweeted by God. Well, I wanted it to be like it's like real life validation that you pursue on the internet, but it's like the real life version of some kind of internet validation. So I was like, oh, like a retweet feels good. What's the best kind of getting retweeted? I was like, oh God would be a good one. Because then everyone would fucking hear your joke about Joe Biden or whatever, you know?
Yeah, but he speaks to no one.
That's true.
Yeah.
Without, at least not without driving them insane.
He's got all these followers, but he never follows back.
So you're a deist, I take it. Are you a deist?
Are we getting into it?
Sure.
I think pantheist.
What's deism versus theism? I always forget. Deist is like impersonal Christian God, and theist is impersonal. I gotta look this
I'm
up.
not sure of the exact distinction.
Yeah,
but
keep
I
going.
think the
Talk
thing that
about
makes the most sense is like, I don't know, like Taoism or any other sort of like vaguely pantheistic thing where everything's all part of the same big thing.
Okay,
It's basically, I think fucking Richard Dawkins is this shitty, horrible ass. Put it pretty well though. He was like, it's sexed up atheism, and it's like, well, that sounds. And I think that was like a put down.
Yeah.
Because he's a dickhead, but I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not sex it up?
So for the listeners who are curious, theism just means you believe in a god or any number of gods. It's just like the opposite of atheism. Deism is the belief in a god that created the universe but does not intervene in it. So.
Just sit back and watch.
Yeah. Hands off Venezuela, God.
It's like Matt Groening, you know, he created The Simpsons.
The Simpsons, but
he didn't really participate.
Really?
In it. Yeah, he really didn't. He like drew Homer Simpson once, and then people are like, the genius who created this like cultural thing that shifted everything. And he like I don't think he wrote like 2 episodes maybe or something like that. I don't know. We should ask Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff would know. We should do a crossover. Do you know Jeff Gaucher?
No.
Mary Devin's fiance does a podcast called The Blurst of Times about The Simpsons.
Is that out yet?
I have no idea.
Okay, because I want to listen to it.
We should do a crossover episode. That'd be really funny.
Yeah, definitely.
Where people just explain The Simpsons to me. I mean, I watched a bunch, but not like religiously. I've probably seen like 50 episodes total in my life.
Yeah, I think I spent my entire childhood watching it. It was one of those things. This is mostly a podcast where I talk about my friend Luke, and then sometimes he's on the podcast. Mm-hmm. But he was saying that like the weird, absurdist sort of like internet humor where there's jokes, but like they don't quite make sense. Might have been informed by a generation of people growing up watching really good jokes but not understanding why they work. That's and they were just like, "Yep, I get the rhythm of jokes, but I don't need to know."
It's like those
like who Janet Reno is or whatever.
It's like those short films that like Germans make where like it'll be like dialogue that sounds like English, like it has the cadence of English and uses all the same phonemes as English, but it's not. It's total gibberish. So it's like it sounds like English if you don't speak English. Have you seen these?
No, but that sounds great.
But it's like a similar concept of like they know what it sounds like, but they don't know how to do it. Germans are a bad example because they all speak English, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is technically super racist, but it's, you know, if you're doing it against English speakers, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was in college, that looks like a sick man's urine. Like,
But it's Sauvignon Blanc, actually.
It's Rex Goliath. Rex Goliath does not have varietals.
That's good.
It sounded like you sneezed that phrase out.
I can't talk, so we have to just stop acknowledging my voice.
All right.
It'll just be bad.
You should eat some Vaseline.
I don't think that would help. I think it's like, I like it when it's raspy.
Yeah.
It does sound cool.
It doesn't sound cool when my voice cracks like a pubescent boy.
I think that you don't look like a sorority girl in real life, but when you have this voice, you present as a sorority girl. Do you know sorority voice? The raspy.
Oh, yeah, that raspy.
Like, I smoked too many
Marlboro Lights.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, no, I used to talk about that a lot. And also girls that like weren't even smokers had it. I was like, how do you get that genetically?
Just from yelling in the club.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, Laura Sanders has it too, but she doesn't really present as a sorority girl.
No, but she's always screaming.
Yeah.
I've never been around like fraternities or sororities, but ended up at a bar on Thursday that was totally empty until they were like, "Are you with KKG?" And I was like, "What is that?" And everyone around me was like, "Oh no." And then like 200 people walked in and they were all wearing neon and they all weighed 85 pounds.
Yeah.
And then like some of them wanted to talk to us.
You should be flattered that someone thought you were a sorority girl though, because they're very evil and exclusionary. So it's because you're beautiful.
Put that out. But one of them was like, "I'm just going to be a business consultant. Like, do you work a 9 to 5?" And I was like, "Kind of. I don't know." She's like, "I'm really excited about business. Like, tap in at 9, be done at 5. I just think it's like the person you are and less of what you do." And I just like looked at her for a minute, and she like got confused and walked away. But that was like my full exposure
Wait, what
to
bar
Greek
was
life.
it?
F&M's.
Oh shit! Oh my god!
I don't know why.
My aunt and uncle met at F&M's.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That explains.
It is the frattiest, most sororitiest, most like.
Well, there was literally no one there
It was
until
early.
we had a I don't know. They had a work whatever gala celebration, and then that was nearby.
One time, Margot and I passed out. Like we were meeting up. It was like we were like 24, so we were on the end of it being at the age where you went to F&M's, and we were never really F&M's people, but we were F&M's adjacent because like we had friends that were kind of sorority fraternity adjacent without being in them. And so we tried to like hang out, and we just went upstairs and sat on a couch and fell asleep like this. And we woke up at like 6 a.m. and no one cared. But yeah, and no one, anyway, F&M's is a terrible place. It keeps catching on fire.
The one time I ever went to F&M's was after a wedding. It was like after a wedding and then after a wedding after party. And I ended up like making out with a bridesmaid. And
That's amazing.
And then like we made out for like 5 minutes, and I was like, "Do you want to go somewhere?" And she's like, "No." And then so we just made out for like 90 more seconds, and then we went our separate ways.
No.
Yeah. It's like, all right, so I reached a certain standard, but not another standard.
I remember when I was young enough that like you could like in my teens and early 20s that like making out at a bar was like hooking up. It was like that was the beginning and end. It wasn't like, okay, we're making out, so we're gonna go fuck each other. It was like, no, I'm gonna go make out with another guy too, right next to you. Yeah. Do y'all remember that? No. Cool.
No.
I do remember. I do remember when making out at a bar was the pinnacle of hooking up.
And like,
because there was nowhere to go.
It was not uncommon to make out with multiple men at the same bar for me.
I
and my
didn't
friends.
start going to bars until I started doing comedy. I started like when I was 21. So I would go to like open mics, like not even like booked shows. And if you make out at an open mic,
oh yeah, that's bad.
Yeah,
dude.
You're
During the comedy?
going to hell. No, that's actually hilarious. I love when there are people in the audience. I did a show at Harrah's like a month ago, and there was an old couple just like fully like groping each other like right in front of me, and I was like, I'm not even gonna mention this because like this is the only part of my set that I'm enjoying. It's just how fucking hilarious this is.
Making out at a casino. That's dark.
That is
especially
really
if you're
sad.
not in like Vegas or Atlantic City. You're just in
Harrah's.
a casino. Yeah.
Also, they weren't even like they were at the comedy show at the casino.
Which is just like a big open space. So it's this huge ass room.
It's a
But
coliseum.
the stage is tiny. And so it's this like big room where the stage is like not the main event in the big room. And it has like ceilings that are like 3 stories high.
Right.
It's like insane.
The worst possible space.
It's the worst space. And like people will pass by and just like look in and be like, oh, someone's up there talking, and then just leave. And then sometimes when I was doing it, someone came in and was like, excuse me, where's the bathroom?
Yeah, there's like a wireless mic that you have to scream into for it to pick anything up, and then once it picks anything up, it amplifies it into like just an echoey room. Yeah, that
It's
show's awful.
horrific.
But those people were doing it right.
I think I saw a Rory Scovel set, not live. I saw
The one where he's like climbing all over in the hotel lobby.
Exactly.
Yeah, that shit rules.
It's just like he's like, this is the worst space imaginable. I have nothing to lose. It was so good.
Yeah, he like goes around and like knocks on people's hotel doors and shit. Yeah.
Dude, that dude rules. That dude is extremely good.
So wait, how long have you lived in New Orleans?
This is Nell, by the way. We're not
This is
saying her
Nell.
last name, but this is Nell.
2 years.
Okay, and did you move here for work?
No, I moved here to go to grad school, actually.
Oh, okay, cool. And where are you from originally / where do you claim?
New York.
Oh,
but the county
cool.
north of the city. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Westchester.
What's that? I don't know anything about Westchester.
It's full of money and white people. It's lush and pretty. The
So is it
Clintons
like-
live there?
Oh, they do?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
It's like Get Out, right?
Did you grow up on...
Well, it's not Connecticut, but the same idea.
Wasn't it New York?
I thought it was maybe.
thought it
It
was
could have been the
Connecticut.
same idea.
Maybe
Absolutely.
they initially wrote
like
it as
Sleeper
Connecticut, and they're
Town.
like, this is too on the nose. We have to make it not Connecticut.
But did you... where... Was your house on like... Did you have like an acre of land or something like that?
No,
No.
not quite.
No,
but
10 acres.
it's funny you bring it up. No, but it's all off like the train line that goes to the city and stuff. And then I went to college in the city.
Okay,
And
awesome.
here I am.
Awesome.
What, so you didn't participate in NYU's thriving Greek scene?
I did not. I did a cappella though, which is essentially the same thing.
Acapella is improv for singers. I'm just keeping a list of things that are improv, but for other stuff, like CrossFit being improv for the gym.
I have a tweet from a few years ago where I call it swole improv, but other people have made that joke 75 bajillion times.
It's because it's so true.
It's so true.
It's so true.
Wait,
Yeah.
is it just like the culty aspect of it that you're talking about, or?
Yeah, everybody talks about how it changes their life. It's like you only hang out with CrossFit people if you do CrossFit. Yeah, it's expensive as fuck.
Wait, so acapella is not choir? That's a different thing? I don't know. I don't understand that.
It is just singing without instruments.
Did people fuck in acapella? Was there like acapella drama?
Hell yes.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yes.
I want to know about this.
It's like a barbershop quartet is an acapella format.
Yeah, well, we were all female, and like
That-
there were. I know. Yeah, but
Michael's
we would,
scissoring right now.
With my hands.
There was little. It was pretty heteronormative. I think they like everyone who ran it wanted to be around all male a cappella groups, so we could
Oh, okay.
fuck and make singing children. But I didn't. I'm not like a great singer. I just I think seemed pretty fun to them, and was just pretty bad at singing. They were always like, okay, like altos. Let's just practice that part a couple more times, and that was the extent of my.
Will you
I was
sing?
hoping. I was
won't
hoping that
sing,
you had
right?
like
Absolutely
a.
not.
Absolutely
No, I will
not.
not.
You're smart.
I was hoping that you would have like a sultry baritone or like a what's it called, like basso profundo or whatever, and like the.
I was not that advanced.
That'd be
I was mostly.
sick, dude.
You do have a beautiful just talking voice. You have a great
thank you.
voice. I'm very into voices, and I hate people with bad ones irrationally, but you have a great voice.
Yeah, you have a voice
thank
for
you.
radio.
I hate it, but thank you.
Really?
Doesn't
Oh.
everyone? Yeah.
I think
Everyone hates their own sound, like listening to it.
Honestly,
Horrifying.
So here's the great thing about wearing headphones while you record a podcast. Like, I definitely downregulate my voice. Like, I like my voice on the podcast, but if I hear it recorded when I wasn't wearing headphones, it's always like higher and shriller than I want it to be.
Yeah.
I think I have a lisp that I only hear recorded, but no one's ever confirmed for me.
you have-
like S's. What do you guys think?
No, you don't have a list.
You have
don't have a
dysmorphia
list.
Traditional.
you have voice dysmorphia. Yeah, you don't even come close to having.
Thank
a
I
list.
think there's a range of like how much people enunciate certain sounds that like that is like normal, and you don't have like a lisp. My mom has put on a lisp I think she just wants to be interesting.
Does she have a lateral lisp?
No,
Or does she have a
but it's like I can't even think of what she does. Yes, she has a she wanted to be sexy.
retweeted by God? No, the spat.
No,
was
I
not a
just
spit
actually
take.
drew
That
it on
was
my
a
own
drool
face.
take.
Yeah,
That was a
yeah.
drool
Spit
take.
take
Yeah,
is
no,
a
no.
spit take is like
Most of the time I drink, I
aerosolized,
spill on my
atomized. It has to be atomized to be a spit take. But it was a. Sorry, go on.
No, it's just like she probably just like has started talking differently for whatever reason. She also has started to put on more of a southern accent. And she does it when she talks to certain people. So does my aunt. Like my cousin and I are always like, why are they like this? But they really try. I think that's why I hate affectations, because I see people doing them and I'm like, just talk like yourself.
Yeah, I think it's
It happens to people like when they just are like in that group though.
Yeah, but my mom doesn't have a lot of friends with like country accents.
Right. It's involuntary for like that is an involuntary phenomenon, but some people, like a lot of boomers, read How to Win Friends and Influence People, and it was just like sound exactly like whoever you're talking to.
Yeah.
It's so it creeps me the fuck out.
creepy,
My
yeah.
dad does that. It's like, I mean, and he was like an insurance salesman, so like I don't know, maybe it worked, but but it always made me extremely uncomfortable. I also have an allergy to affectation. It's like that's one of the reasons why I hate 99% of books that I read, because it doesn't matter how good of a writer you are. Everyone is like, when they write, they're like, this is probably what a book is supposed to sound like.
Yes,
Do you know what I mean?
yes.
It fucking drives me
Oh my
insane.
God, I hate that. I'm just like, when it takes me out of it, I cannot watch. Have you tried to watch? Sorry. Wait, did
No,
I
I'm just
fart?
like pushing my burp that way.
Oh, okay. I was like, is it my armpits? So
You even did that in like a cool way though. Like you were like,
Thanks.
has anyone watched The Act about Gypsy Rose Blanchard? Do you know about that? Okay, so there are these people from Louisiana. They have these like crazy ass, thick ass, like Southern, like Cajun accents, which no one can do. TV, no one in Louisiana. Every time someone does a Louisiana accent, it's always like, "Well, I do declare, I was drinking tea under the Spanish moss," and my friend referred to it as breathy Civil War voice, which is completely it. I had just, at the same time she said that, I said,
Dearest Tabitha.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, so none of us sound like that. If you were imitating someone from Shreveport, it would be inaccurate, but it would be less offensive because they do just have sort of traditionally Southern Texas accents, which is different from that one. But Cajun accents, I'm like, it's in a different fucking planet of accent. Like, that's like, it's not even, it sounds nothing like, that Gone with the Wind drawl. If anything, it's like from anyway, so it's just infuriating to watch, but I just wish that TV would go bland. I just wish that TV would not do an accent, because Midwestern newscast, like, if they're casting something in another country, they just give them English accents.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so we can do that if someone's in Greece in the 1800s or whatever. I don't know what existed then, but if I don't know geography, was it Greece? I don't know. But like, if someone,
Greece isn't famous for like being really old.
really old. But like, if someone is there, they'll just give them an English accent. But if they're in Louisiana, they have to do a terrible accent. And I'm like, some people here just talk like Midwestern newscasters.
I think
even some poor people.
If you're not going to try and get it right, just don't have people
Just
do
don't have an
accents at all.
accent, yeah.
Like, the death of Stalin was so good because they just had everyone talk how they normally
talk.
And like, there was like no pretense about it. The best example of that for sure, though, is The Last Temptation of Christ. Harvey Keitel just doing fucking like Brooklyn. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Like Mel Brooks' voice or whatever.
You
Yeah.
want to fucking betray? Like,
I gotta watch that. I've never seen it.
did
It's so
participate in
good.
Steel Magnolias when I was in high school.
You did- you
And
did-
we
Steel
all did a
Magnolias.
lot of accent
Shelby,
work.
yeah.
I would love to see that DVD.
I love Steel Magnolias. We used to watch it in PE because we had a terrible PE teacher who was a Saint Sation and never made us do anything. I love Steel Magnolias. I love Shelby.
But I know we all sounded like horrifying, like 14, people telling us about Louisiana accents, like trying to whip those
Oh
out.
yeah, if I saw it today, I might be annoyed. I don't know though. It's so fucking good, and Dolly Parton's in it. I want to rewatch that right now. Have y'all seen Steel Magnolias?
I went to high school in the city where it was filmed. That's like the one thing that they have going for them. So it was like
okay.
required.
What city is
watching. Natchitoches, Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Do they talk like
where
that?
everyone talks
That's the craziest
like
spelled
this.
city of all time.
Crazy.
Natchitoches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was with a client one time. He's like, I'm from Natchitoches. I was like, I had moved here like 6 months earlier, and I was like, how do you spell that? And he was like,
He just said the whole alphabet.
But then he didn't know how to spell it.
Yeah.
And I was Googling it, and I was like,
Natchitoches.
I think like maybe he has like severe mental illness. Like he doesn't
And then
know
you
where
were
he's
like,
from.
no.
And everyone I work with was like, nah,
No,
you're off.
Yeah.
You're off.
Yep.
Oh shit! What was I gonna say? Oh, when are we gonna have El Ron Mexico on? Did he get back to you?
oh yeah, the 4th.
So we're definitely
Yeah.
of May.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, May the 4th.
that's exciting.
What did you do last night, Nell?
El Ron Mexico.
Nothing.
No, she didn't do El Ron.
No. Sorry, go ahead.
Who's that?
He's our guest on May 4th. He's Cajun and he's in DSA and he's extremely cool and funny on Twitter.
Yes.
Everyone follow.
He also just rescued like some puppies and kittens. Like, so in
Doesn't
the
get better than that.
DSA Slack, he was like, "Hey everybody, I got like 1 million puppies and kittens if anyone needs any." Because like he rescued them from like some like horrible like swamp cage.
Oh my god.
And he's like, so they were covered in shit, but I nursed them back to health, and I'm taking them in to get all their shots, and they're really sweet. And I'm like, how the fuck are you such a good dude?
That's
No, don't get a
insane.
free pet.
Don't.
It'll
Why?
cost you more money in the end. Yeah, no, I lived with someone. Hope. Got
Wait,
a cat.
No. Someone adopt these.
Don't-
adopt
They
these-
got them all.
Don't
Huh?
adopt a free cat. Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah. No, you should. But just be warned, it might cost you more.
Don't think that it's really
I'm cutting
free.
this from the podcast.
No,
this is a
okay,
terrible
okay.
message.
Okay, y'all are heroes, by the way. Y'all are heroes because you support.
Tippy cost $25.
What's that?
She was not free.
What? She was covered in shit though.
I didn't say they couldn't be covered.
But
in
did she
shit.
have her
I just said they-
shots?
I mean, we celebrated. Yeah.
Wait, no, I want to keep hearing your point though.
No, my friend wanted a cat, low on cash. Someone turned up with 3 kittens in their backyard. She got this cat. It was like the size of a small potato. And he was like a little sassy and running around. And then for 6 weeks had the most horrific diarrhea. I thought he was going to die at any moment. So we all went out of town for a while. And she came back and was like, oh my God, it smells like someone was murdered in my apartment. So she was like looking around. She's like, oh, the rooms are clean. Living room's clean. And then she walks by our 3rd roommate's room. and her entire bed is covered in diarrhea. And we've been gone for like a week or something. It was like a lot.
They left the cat alone for a week?
Well, no, okay, sorry. Well, there was someone who we all know who agreed to watch the cat.
Who didn't
notice.
Oh, so didn't watch the cat. Cool.
Well, I think she was probably like, oh, I'm not dealing with that. Or she thinks we're like horrible people that just like live like that, like, smelling like diarrhea at all times. Came back, was like, oh no, my cat's so sick. Brought her to the vet. They were like, certainly it's this thing. Like 80% chance it's this one parasite. 2 weeks, you should be fine. And the cat, first of all, got traumatized by the litter box because it was having such horrible poops. Mm-hmm. So it just started pooping everywhere else. I think because like the dust was getting into its like poor raw butthole.
Oh, God.
And it was just like going on the kitchen table.
Oh, God.
And like our couch, we were just throwing stuff out like we didn't even care. Like rug, I fucking hated it. Like bedspread, I don't need it. Yeah. It's hot down here. Fuck it. And like our couch was just covered in baking soda entirely, and you couldn't sit on it.
Oh, God.
And it was not the first parasite. So like 6 weeks later, and the cat was just like so sad. It didn't know when it was coming, so it would just be like walking.
Oh, God.
And it's like butthole would just start leaking, and then it would get so sad, and it would like run around and get it everywhere.
How did they fix the cat?
Did you kill the cat?
It took like 6 weeks.
Okay.
Oh,
No, the cat's alive, and honestly, was
sure.
taken down a few pegs. So it's probably good for its personality, but
That really humbles you.
It was
constantly
yeah.
having diarrhea.
Like getting bullied in elementary school. It just, it changes you for the better.
Puberty, it's just humiliating the whole time.
That's why
and
Jeff is
ideally
so
you come up-
exactly.
Yeah.
He's always
So the moral of the story is only get your pets from
Oh, the cat
puppy
cost
and
like
kitten mills.
$2,000.
Yeah, the vet.
After like 3 parasite attempts, we finally figured out what it was. It was like so rare. She had to get it this very specific medication.
This sounds like
But
a
she
very
thought it was going to be
specific
free.
anecdote.
You should not get it because
Yeah, you shouldn't get a cat if you're too poor to afford like vet
Yes.
costs. Yeah.
That's why I don't have
no
a
one
dog.
should get the free cat.
I'm with
but
you. I
consider
hear
there
what
might
you're
be
saying.
long-term
That's
costs
like
if you want it to live.
You should never think it's a free cat.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
That's like
you
like
understood
someone
my point.
There's no
who's
such thing as a free cat.
someone who's
thank
that's
you.
like someone whose kid died of SID saying like don't have a baby, they die immediately.
No, it's not. No, what you're saying is get a cat, but if the motivation is I couldn't usually afford a cat, this one's free. Don't
Yes,
think
yes,
that.
yes, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what you were saying the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Jean might want, people to buy the things to.
Yeah, to
make sure-
reimburse.
I don't know, but
if he like paid to get him
anyway,
clean
someone.
up.
can
Well, I never
take
read
these-
Slack. Yeah.
How about everyone
Puppies
just
and
Venmo
cats.
him $5 for no reason, and that should do it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Look how fucking infuriating this is. My fake ass nail finally cracked off. Mm-hmm. And so there's like, you know how infuriating hangnails are? Mm-hmm. I just have that constantly because it's like I feel the difference between the real nail and the fake nail,
yeah.
and I hate it so much. I need to get them professionally removed because you can't take them off.
You can just soak them in acetone. though.
That's true. I just like...
That does look anxiety inducing.
It is. I woke up by like scratching my face with it this morning. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just had to acknowledge it. But I do need to just soak them for like 30 minutes in acetone. I hate them now. Sorry.
It's okay.
Someone talk about something else.
No, let's talk more about your nails.
Okay.
Anything that upsets you, I'm down to talk about.
They're horrible and look like horrible claws, and I can't do anything. I can't type, and like whenever I eat, all the food gets stuck in them, and I can't like when I was trying to get my debit card off the bar, I was just pawing it because I don't have any like they're so thick you can't get a good yeah. Anyway, it's
Do you text
infuriating.
like...
Yeah, I can only text with the one thumb because I'm just like
Did you?
that's what texting is.
Did
It's
you?
just trying to get it.
That's not what that sounds like.
It's just trying to get. It's just trying to get it to touch my finger and not the nail.
Right.
Anyway.
What did you get them did for? What event?
No, I just got them done.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I got them done like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
You've had them for a while.
I've had them for a while.
You should, before you take them off, you should do a photo shoot with more Paradise Park, and then send them and be like, that'll be $50.
Wait, do you have those photos from when my nails look good and you took the Paradise Park? Okay, cool. Because
Yeah.
now they look like shit, and I drew on them with Sharpie.
That's so punk, dude. You're so punk.
I mean, I just have constant access to Sharpie at school. It's hard not to use it.
Yeah, I definitely had a bunch of like jeans from 5th grade that had like AC/DC.
Dude, have you seen Sam's tattoo?
No.
Oh, this is so good. So when Sam was in, he might be mad at me for this.
Where?
Wait.
Sam Fick.
Yeah, they're
Yeah, I
dating.
know.
Yeah, I know. But
You
Where on
haven't
his
seen-
body?
but it's very small. It's on his ankle. He gave
You
him
haven't seen your
when he was in
boyfriend's tattoo?
when he was in it's shut
Just
the fuck
listen,
up.
listen.
Just listen. When he was in elementary school, he decided to give himself a stick and poke tattoo on his ankle. And so he started it, but it like hurt, and so he stopped. And what he was trying to tattoo on himself was his own initials. So he just has like SL on his...
But that happens all the time. Don't you read about people getting arrested and like the camera, they had like their social security number and their birthday on their back.
Oh my God.
They're always like, yeah, I bet I know who that is. Yeah. People who like have committed a crime and then are caught on film, and then they have some tattoo that's like so identifying for the person that they are.
It's just
they're like, how did they know? They're like, love my mom. This is where she lives. Yeah.
Her maiden name.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so funny.
Yeah. Wait, how is this? I'm very intrigued.
Text him right now and tell him to send a picture of...
No, I don't want to use my phone. I will later.
You don't want to use your phone?
No.
We were just talking about how it's freeing, like a second ago.
I'll do
It
it,
is
man.
nice. I'm on my phone so much. I don't even want to say how much screen time I have all the time, but it's so nice.
How much?
It's like 5 hours and 26 minutes. It's a lot. I'm always on
But
it.
do you use it for work? Like, I
Yeah,
could never
I'm always
do that
texting.
because
that makes
total sense.
But I also use
Constantly
it
need to be on my
mostly
phone
for
for
Twitter. But like, I also have to constantly look at my phone because I'm getting texts about work from like during aftercare. People will be like, I'm in an emergency, or like, as much as we tell people to not be on their phones during their shifts, we all need to use our phones to communicate. So it is definitely something I do use for work, but I would say that 3 out of those 5 hours are social media related, which is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Mostly just looking at other people's.
Yeah, you're extremely online. You tweet a lot.
I do.
Yeah. They're good tweets, though.
Most of them. Some of them are terrible. Sometimes I get into like this drunken haze where I have one eye open and I'm like, I need to get this thought out. And then I wake up and I'm like, I just delete everything that I tweeted. It's horrible.
Do you guys
Are
have
on
Twitter? No. To promote your comedy or just because you enjoy it?
I had it before I did comedy.
Okay.
Yeah. But I didn't start using it to be funny or to like voice my very dumb opinions that I'm like, this is important. Until I started doing comedy.
Yeah.
I just sort of like lingered on it.
Actually, don't tell Sam that I told you that. This is his punishment for not listening to the show.
I was going to say, yeah, he'll never know.
Yeah.
But you should ask him about it. You should
Absolutely.
like, yeah, totally.
You should like just like keep an eye on his ankles, and when you see it, be like,
Keep an eye on it.
what's that? Are those your ex-girlfriend's initials? In a way they are, because he was.
You don't seem very dirty. Sam's very dirty. You seem like a very clean person. He like doesn't.
I'm a little dirty.
You are?
But no, I don't know. I have a...
How often do you think you bathe on average per week? Is that too personal?
Like 5 times.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
very
No, I'm not like him. Certainly not.
Yeah,
but I'm
he'll
not
go-
grossed out by things.
Yeah.
Like I'll find things in my car and try and figure out what they are via my mouth. But I don't... Yeah, but I bathe, and I ask him to.
But it doesn't bother. I also ask Jeff too, and like I
thought you were gonna say you also ask Sam too. Yeah,
and I'm like a disgusting person who probably bathes like 3.5 times a week on average, and I exercise fairly regularly. But I do a lot of hoe baths, a lot of
bucket baths.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like just sink baths.
Having a bidet, you got to shower way less.
You guys
gotta get
you
a
need like a
bidet.
bidet segment every time.
Yeah, we talk.
You guys go on this podcast and talk about bidets.
Dude,
Yeah.
He
it's,
especially
And I've never
talks
used
about
one.
bidets. I
it
had not
changed
used
my
one until I
life.
had one, and it's amazing.
For someone who's like ostensibly very chill, you really have some fixations about body stuff, about like bodily cleanliness, because you groom obsessively, I would say. Right?
What?
You like shave your butthole for hours and like, right?
You don't shave your butthole, do you?
Oh no, I think it
Yeah.
just
the
feels
hole?
better.
You also said like that you like basically give yourself bidet enemas. Was that not on mic? I could take that out.
No, I
No, he's very proud of that.
Okay.
I do. Yeah.
So how does this not?
I don't think it's like obsessive. I think it's just
But he also don't.
I just
one
have
time,
I have a perfect asshole.
one time you told me that you didn't really use soap.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, for a really long time, I didn't.
Okay.
And it didn't.
Yeah.
Like nobody noticed.
Yeah.
If you just use water,
It's
you're
mostly
fine.
fine.
Did you ask people?
Huh?
How did you know that nobody noticed?
I mean,
said it.
Nobody was mean enough to say anything. But no, I think
I know
that's-
when I smell
Yeah.
too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I could.
I'm a
I still
believe
barely ever use it, and I like only use it on like my ass, my dick, and my face in that order.
same bar each time. Yeah. No washcloth. as we learned on Kamari's episode.
Well, no, I just hands. You know, you take the soap, you rub it on your hands, and then you rub it on yourself.
Yeah, I do that.
I rub the soap directly onto my body because I'm disgusting.
Yeah.
Also, I don't share my soap with anyone else.
Yeah. I'm a butt and genitals, armpits, and face guy. That's all I don't fuck with. I don't wash.
I love it how
anything
we're
else.
all going in the wrong order. Unless that is I have face wash. Like I have like a liquid face wash that I use. So the soap is only for like my armpits and then I use my hand to wash my butt crack, and I don't use soap on my pussy. And I wash my feet with soap.
Yeah.
I'm still pissed at you for saying that I groom obsessively.
You groom more than most people who look like Frank Zappa. You do.
I shower like 3 times a week. I just have a bidet. That's the only thing.
Yeah, but people don't give themselves enemas with their bidets.
Are you exaggerating when you say that you enemize yourself with the bidet?
No.
Will someone defend me here?
Yeah, I don't think that's obsessive grooming, though. I think that you just like having stuff in your butt.
That's true.
Okay. Which is a normal, fine, healthy thing. I just don't think it's grooming related.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I think other people they got weak bidets.
No, my butthole hurts too much if I try to, if I even make it too strong. It just hurts. I don't want to put an enema, and it hurts. Yeah, I have a very sensitive butthole. Anyway, let's all talk about that. Let's talk about our buttholes.
Yeah, no, keep talking.
No, I'm done. I hate my voice. That's how I sound when I try to give myself a bidet.
So Nell takes 5 showers a week. We've learned.
It's normal. I was just asking because Nell's boyfriend is like proudly dirty man.
I
don't think he knows.
He doesn't know?
He knows.
I tease
him about it sometimes.
But I think when it gets brought up, he's okay with it.
Yeah,
but I don't think
is.
he thinks about it until other people.
But he doesn't really have body odor, which is interesting. He does.
No,
Yes, he does.
Well, he doesn't do enough laundry, I think, is partially a contributing factor.
No, but also he doesn't use real detergent, and he doesn't use enough.
Yeah. But so,
What's
okay.
I figured it out. I don't know. He buys it from Restaurant Depot
Is it like-
in like...
Oh, it's not like crystals or some stupid shit like that.
No, it's like, I don't even know
It's just
where
really
you could
cheap.
acquire
I just
something like
sage
that.
my
I like him a lot.
clothes.
He's a wonderful person. I'm really glad I met him. But I don't think it's real detergent.
Okay, so here's my favorite Sam story about his hygiene. So we went over to his house because he made a big pot of red beans and rice. Very exciting, right? So first he took us in the backyard to show us a dead bird that he found. That he, for some reason, the wing was detached, and he was like, "Look, if you pull the tendon, it moves the wing
God.
opens and closes." And we're like, "Cool." And then he proceeded to go back in the kitchen with his unwashed hands, sprinkle salt in the red beans and rice, and then he pulled out a huge jar of like animal fat that he had saved in like a container.
That's not that weird.
In a container that he did not wash well enough, that was from something else, like a sour cream container or something. And it had like little bits of like floating animal flesh in it. And it was very old. Like, I was like, "How long have you been saving that?" And he's like, "I don't know, like 400 years." And then he's like, "You can't go wrong with more fat." And then he just like dumped.
That is true.
Okay, but
about
how did
red
it taste?
beans.
And did you get sick?
It was weirdly sweet, and I did not get sick.
Oh, interesting. Did he add a lot of sugar?
It did gross me out.
For some reason.
No, I think that he made a mistake somewhere along the line.
Well, he tried out for MasterChef, and they just were like, "You have a lot going on." Yeah.
He's an excellent cook.
Art, do you cook? I just want to keep asking you questions because I feel like you're not like a natural talker about yourself.
No,
So
I think
you are?
I am, but just not in this setting because I'm very conscious of what is recorded.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
I
you're
know,
not using
I
your
took,
last name. And how many Nells are there in New Orleans? 2?
I know another one.
Yeah, there you go.
Could be
Is
her.
it a Janelle or a Chanel? Because that's not the same.
Oh, is yours just Nell? That's your
I'm not
birth
gonna
name?
snitch.
Oh, that's cool.
What's that?
I'm not going to snitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, how's that?
What was the question?
I don't remember. Nell just hit her head on the
I
microphone.
was asking if you like to cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Enough.
Not
Whatever.
yeah. Not.
What do you like to eat?
Man,
Did you guys think about these questions before?
Is it ass?
Good.
I prepared. We prepared extensively. We Googled you to find out which we should ask.
That's not true. Actually, you said hi to me, I think 2 weeks ago or something like that at Comedy Fuck Yeah, and I didn't remember who you were.
I know.
Yeah. I could
It's
tell
okay.
that you knew, and I've been thinking about that moment.
It's okay. I think I am particularly unmemorable, and this happens to me frequently.
That's not
not because of my like character, but just because I remember like nothing important, like nothing I learned between like the 5th and the 12th grade. But I do remember like every conversation I've ever had with someone, and I will just run into someone and be like, "Oh my God, how's your cousin? Who? Remember he lost his job and like his wife was sick?" And they're like, "Who the fuck are you?
Who are you?"
I'm like, "We met at Pal's like 4 months ago."
I'm that way too. I think that it's what I
But
value.
no one with Caro all the time. Also, because she's distinct looking. We run into people that we've met and they know who she is, and they're like, "Are you in town?" Yeah, why not?
You're distinct looking.
Thank you.
I take issue with all of this. So when the state of your relationship with my best friend was up in the air, Jeff Martinez, his roommate, said that he was less worried about Sam than he was about me because I clearly liked you so much. So
That doesn't mean I'm memorable.
I mean, I remember. I mean, you're like funny as fuck. and-
Exhibit A, I forgot. So
Yeah, but
Exactly.
who knows? Whatever. Anyway, you're good. I'll cut this.
When we were thinking about
You never cut anything
That I say that I cut.
Yeah.
I know.
I was telling Michael I never know when he cuts anything. I listen to every episode.
Like she can't detect the gaps. Which
Yeah.
I think
I just hear you talking about things you will cut.
He just does that to like guilt us for not doing more work.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
no, I'm cutting and he doesn't fucking do shit.
No, I can actually probably think of some stuff that you guys said on the pod that I was like, I need to protect them from themselves.
Yeah, I'll also double down and be like, no, you can include this, because you'll look at me like, stop it, and I'm like, no, include it, and then I like go harder, and then afterwards I'm like, I shouldn't have said that. Michael was right. Also, can you take me to my car? It's by Sydney's after this is done.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, sorry. Also, I could just take a lift there if you're going the opposite direction, but it's pretty.
Wait,
No, I am going exactly there.
Yeah.
There's a show at Sydney's?
No, there was a dance party at Sydney's last night.
And you left your car there. Got
Yeah,
it.
because I was fucked up.
Did Paul? Was it Paul's thing?
Yeah, he was DJing, and honestly, he did a great job.
He's good.
At first, when I found out Paul was DJing, I love Paul, but sometimes he can only play songs from like the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was at one point he was playing Return of the Mac, and I was like, yes, perfect. I only hear this song on the radio 59,000 times every day.
Right.
But then he started playing like the things that you would never request, but you want. Like Pink, let's get this party started, or whatever that song is. Like shit that's like, oh, this is a great song. Or that Charlie XCX song, the I Don't Care, I Love It song. People were freaking out to that song. I guess everyone was on drugs. I was not on drugs. I was just very drunk.
Yeah.
But I was having a fucking blast. It was really fun.
How often does he do that?
This one, I think this one might have been celebrating him getting a green card.
What? I didn't know.
Yeah, he got a
about
green
this.
card. Yeah.
That sucks. I'm sorry I missed that.
I didn't tell him congratulations. I think there was for an event, but I forgot what it was.
Congratulations, immigrant.
But yeah, it's been he's had like a fucking battle to be able to work here. Like he is not allowed to make money off of U.S. company. It was not allowed to for like years. So we have to get writing work outside of the fucking. That's insane to me.
Yeah.
Immigrating is so hard. Whenever people are like, just do it legally, I'm like, it's horrific, even if you do. But
Even if you are a
white Englishman,
yeah,
it's very hard to do legally. And even if you do it all legally, you have to just have money. You just have to have money saved and not be able to have an income.
Yeah.
So it's impossible.
It's like it's like getting an unpaid internship that is your entire life.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like, oh, okay, so white wealthy people are allowed to move here.
Right.
That's it. But yeah, it's very exciting that he has a green card. Paul's our very good friend.
He was on the pod before, right?
Yeah.
We haven't said his last name yet, have we?
No,
Okay,
I don't think so. And if we, sorry if we did.
No, I don't think we did.
You can do a bloop-de-bloop.
Yeah.
I hope no immigration narcs listen to our podcast.
Because he's the other. You're the second guest to not use your last name, and Paul was the first.
And Oh, you used to not use your last name too.
Yeah, I just don't put it in the copy.
Yeah.
But I actually, at this point, I like put my name back on my Twitter and stuff. Like, I don't care.
Why?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want your
Because when this podcast was starting, I had just started a new job that is by far the best job I've ever had by like several orders of magnitude.
And he didn't want to be associated with Benjamin Hoffman, a known anti-Semite.
Right. Yeah, I just... Anyway, now I think that I have some job security because I've proven myself to not be a fucking idiot. So, and also I like work for them as a consultant, so that they can be like, if I say something stupid, they'll be like, he doesn't actually work for us. He's just a consultant. He just consults.
Yeah. Also, it's pretty ridiculous to expect someone who's not like a very, very wealthy, salaried, full-time person to not have opinions because, you know what I mean?
Right.
That's pretty shitty if they did.
I mean, probably the biggest benefit to having absolutely nothing is that you can say whatever the fuck you want.
You have no... Yeah.
Do you not want to talk about... Oh, sorry. What you were going to talk?
No, I was just going to say, well, when Michael first asked me to do this, he was like, I want to talk to you about being a social worker. So I had to ask my office if I could do it.
Mm-hmm. I was about to ask, do you not want to talk about being a social worker?
No, he was like, never mind, we don't want to talk to you about your job. Just come and hang out. And that made me far more nervous.
Oh,
I
really?
feel like I have like two versions of myself.
But
and
you
this
can
is
still
like a weird
talk
mix
about
of
your
both.
job. If you were like...
Yeah.
If you would have naturally talked about... Like, I think that the hesitation was like, we didn't want to be like, let's hear from the number one expert in social work in New Orleans, a white woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also,
Absolutely.
I think that doesn't mean that you don't have interesting things to contribute.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm still
Yeah.
interested in your perspective.
It's hard for me to be both people, though, at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
just actually... We've had an issue with that in the past where we talk to people that we like know really well and like have a blast with, but like trigger that professional capacity,
Yeah.
Right.
And then they're in this weird middle space that they don't really know how to navigate. So
That is difficult. It'd be hard to have a
It's probably
professional
our
capacity.
fault, too.
oh no, we definitely
Yeah.
suck.
Yeah, we're bad at
that. Yeah, for sure. We're still learning. It's only episode 18 or whatever.
We've recorded probably like 30 though, right?
Yeah, we throw a lot of episodes away. It's
We
very
will
liberating.
not throw this one away because we need it, and also it's good.
So you can't. Oh, I texted Michael this morning. Was like, please throw it away. I won't get it.
That's true.
Tippy.
She did do that.
Well, I'm glad that
Whatever,
you're
fuck
hanging
it.
out.
How'd you get into social work?
I think I grew up in like a hyper privileged bubble and became like, as I became aware, became frustrated by that. And I think when I was in college, I didn't actually know what social work was. And I just was like, I'll study whatever because I'm going to work for a nonprofit because the world is fucked up. But I didn't have sort of like that awareness of like different ways in which you can engage with the world. And I learned about social work and I thought it felt like a good fit.
Do you work for a nonprofit? No, you work in the juvenile justice
So I
system.
work for a nonprofit that's contracted to do juvenile public defense for Orleans Parish.
Got it. Okay. So you sort of work for the local government and also for a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you still, that must be really difficult to navigate.
Yeah, well, when I asked the communications director if I could go on this, and then I told her about it, and I was like, sometimes they talk to like trans
Communists.
lobbyists, and sometimes they talk about
To
their
sex
buttholes.
parties. Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, just don't mention any, elected officials that we're not allowed to say bad things about because we are a registered nonprofit. Like,
Got it. So you can't have political.
yeah, I actually didn't even know if I could distribute information about like abortion in my office.
Holy shit. Damn, that's hard.
Yeah.
I feel like
Do you find
like social workers specifically, like it's such a, you're so hands-on trying to help someone, but it's such a like specifically focused on like a problem that needs to be solved immediately, and like it's
a lot of crisis
it takes a
management.
certain kind of person to be able to like constantly be focusing on a new problem all the time,
Yeah.
without like necessarily like, and it's needed for sure, but like it's like a different kind of like trying to help the world than like I'm gonna tackle this issue. It's like this person needs help right now.
Well, what I'm grateful for is that my office, like simultaneously, there's like 3 different areas in which we work in juvenile justice. So I do the direct representation for court-involved youth, but there are people who do the legislative work. So I don't feel like, I always tell people I'm like catching rain with a thimble, but I also feel like there are people who are hopefully addressing like more ways that we can prevent kids from being court-involved.
yeah.
Yeah, it would be like, I think it'd be hard not to get overwhelmed if you didn't know that, like.
I'm extremely overwhelmed.
How do you, what do you tell you, like, what are your techniques for not just being so overwhelmed that you just shut down?
I go to therapy, and I think it's just like the recognition that I could not solve all these problems.
Right.
That there's no capacity to, but that also like it's just striking a balance between not feeling so overwhelmed by the issues that you also don't respond to the like.
Do you ever get competitive with your therapist?
Tell me more. Wait.
Because I feel like it's such
She's not a therapist, though.
No, I know. But it's like such a like, similar job. Like a social worker.
Well, she is a social worker. So social workers can be therapists as well.
Okay,
they can work in like a number of different capacities. They can be community organizers or develop programming or just do therapy. But yeah, no, she's a social worker. But I actually really like it.
But you're like, I'm in the shit. I'm out there in the field. And,
so she also is. So her part-time job is doing something
so
with
you
like,
got the right person.
Like
so she gets
child
it.
protective services.
Good.
Or it's just helpful to have someone who recognizes the like difficulty of being emotionally regulated when you're surrounded with so much dysregulation and so many crises.
Yeah, you have to have good like boundaries practice, which I don't have at all.
Well, it's hard when you use your fucking personal cell phone for work.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking to my therapist, just got back into therapy, thank you very much. And she was like, I was talking about like my own preoccupations and like the stuff that I like, you know, like I tell jokes about suicide and all the books that I'm working on are about suicide. It's just like a thing that I'm fixated on for a number of reasons. And she was like, what if you like, and I was like, sometimes I feel like I'm just kind of pissing into the wind and I should do something more direct. And she's like, what if you worked at a suicide hotline? And I was like, yeah. And then I was like, no, like that, I don't have the boundaries for that. It would like haunt me all the time. Yeah. Yeah.
I know some people that have worked there. I don't think it's as, I don't want to say challenging, but I don't think everyone is acutely suicidal who's calling.
No, yeah. I mean, who were you there? I was talking to someone about this, who had.
I don't think there are people that you know, or like we wouldn't have.
But like the stuff like you can't like reveal personal details. And my first impulse when someone like confesses something to me or talks to me about something is to be like, oh, here's this very specific thing that like I get it and here's why very specifically. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's a big thing we learn about in social work is not self-disclosing when it's self-serving, and like to be very intentional about that. Like,
can you explain that a little bit? Because
you're also a compulsive self-discloser. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it feels like a good way to empathize. But first of all, like, so my clients are court-involved Black young men. So, and I grew up in like just the most privileged environment possible. Like everything about our lives is so distinctly different. So in that environment, it makes sense to not self-disclose, but also you don't necessarily need like a commonality to help someone work through their problem, whether you're like a therapist or whether you are seeking to understand so you can connect someone with services that will be helpful to them. And even if you do have a shared experience, like what is the purpose of that? Is the purpose because you feel better about it or because it legitimately makes that the person you're serving feel better about it? And like, I have so little in common with my clients, but can at least be like, I can like acknowledge the challenges that they're facing and like why that would be so hard.
Yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of people kind of get empathy wrong and they think that you have to be able to completely relate to someone's story. And it's like, no, just like relate to their emotions. Because we all have like similar emotions, but they come from completely different places. And you don't have to like understand like, I mean, it helps for sure to understand someone's story, but like you don't have to identify with their story to identify with their
Yeah,
and it might also be damaging to like over self-identify, right? Like if you are a former substance user or if you're in recovery and you are seeking to empathize with someone just because you've both been addicted to substances doesn't mean that you both have the same experience.
Exactly.
Yeah, people absolutely. And it's this danger of being like, well, I too was addicted. Why can't you overcome in the same way I do? And like failing to see someone's independent struggles and like maybe making the person that you're there to serve feel inadequate because they are less able to address whatever they're struggling with in the way that you were able to.
Yeah, I don't like self-disclose. I'm a compulsive self-discloser. I don't do it for anyone else's benefit. It's just that when someone confesses something to me, I feel like I then owe them a confession.
Same
of my
here.
own.
Same
Yeah.
So it is for someone else's benefit, but I think it's just like you always need to acknowledge the. I don't know. What did this serve them? Right? Like it's not like I just wanted to like jerk myself off and be like, well, I too have suffered. Right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's this like impulse.
Oh
to
no,
relate to
that
someone.
is actually a huge pet peeve of mine. Where I'm like, where if I tell someone something that I'm dealing with and they'll and they're like, well, here's how I.
Here's how I'm fucked up.
Yeah. It's like
I think so many people. I probably do that, and also hate it when people do it to me.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I think men do it more than women, but I've caught myself doing it a number of times. But men definitely do that more than women. Like they. What are you?
I'm gonna pee.
Okay, but I was talking to Julie about this. The constant need for, if you're talking about a problem, for the man you're talking to be like, I am going through that same thing, or like, oh, that reminds me of this thing I went through. It's not all men, and some women do it, of course, like everything, but that is gendered. But I definitely think it's a very, very male thing, because men like were never taught that they had to take on everyone's emotional pain as much as women were. So we're just better at navigating that in general, depending on people's experiences. But yeah.
Well, you got to win the suffering. you
Right,
know?
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a competition.
Yeah, or I think it's just like comes from this place of feeling like you shouldn't be having a conversation with someone, like you're not worthy of this conversation if you don't have like a comparable struggle, right?
Right.
So it's like, oh, well, I feel like whatever loss or
You panic.
hardship you're struggling with, you're like, I know what that's like. My life isn't so good either, but really just like acknowledge someone's pain and to be ready to acknowledge like maybe the systems that are in place that have made it so difficult for them to access relief, right?
mean,
like
Right. And
Yeah.
how you experience, and how you're going to have different emotional responses to similar experiences depending on your structural, like, position.
someone
And it happens on like a larger scale, but it's like the same thing, especially like around like talking about like economics and race. Like people talk about like how black people have been disenfranchised, and then some idiots like the Irish were also disenfranchised, or like they're
Yeah.
like people don't have jobs, and they're like, have you ever heard of a coal mine? And it's like you didn't need to say that.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever read Strangers in Their Own Land?
No.
I'm reading it right now, but I didn't actually know it took place in Louisiana, but it's some sociologist. It's nonfiction, but she writes about trying to understand like the extreme right in terms of politics. It was written in 2016. And there is sort of this aspect of like neoliberal elitism where she's like, how can these people be so she interviews people in Lake Charles, but also like across the state of Louisiana.
Yeah,
And
her premise is like, how are they so dumb?
How
Yeah.
do they not know that they don't want regulation and they're drowning in oil? Like,
Right.
I'm here to find
Which
out.
is true. Yeah.
But it does come from this perspective of being like, where are they confused? Or
Right.
I don't know, maybe
not
that's
confused,
just
but like a lot of flat earthers aren't even stupid. It's just like someone hurt them, and so they don't trust anyone. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a lot of the reason people hate regulation.
I really liked what Kamari
yeah.
had to say about that, which is, I don't know, like when you have systemic distrust in the world, like that isn't the craziest thing you could think. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, no one is just, it's not like there are whole classes of people that are just dumber than, definitely not that. It's just, it's not that anyone's dumber. It's just that like when the government's pretty much been on your side, you're going to like believe science and believe in policies because you've seen it work. So I understand why it's like and I'm not defending racist people in Lake Charles at all for their racism, but I basically just hate the brand of like Democrat that is like, oh, these people who voted for Trump are gonna make, like, I saw, I've seen like a few celebrities tweet stuff that was like, well, now these tax cuts are gonna help me and not you, sweetie, and like it's like really horrible. And also just taking joy in like people who voted for Trump like having horrible things happen to them. You know what I mean? That's
Like when they started GoFundMe because they got cancer or whatever.
Yeah. And wait, what?
Like when somebody who voted for Trump starts a GoFundMe because they got cancer. Like somebody who hates the ACA, like starting to go right. That's what
Oh, right. Yeah, like something like that. Like someone being
Like
joyful.
the glorification of like an 8-year-old doing a lemonade stand to raise money for their mom's like cancer treatment, and we're like, aren't
for you.
individuals doing
Yeah.
it. Well, it's like this whole idea of individuals taking the responsibility, and like the government shouldn't have to do this. So like individuals should have soup kitchens. You're like, wait, why are people hungry?
Right. Or like
This is like a thing that I get. Sorry to interrupt. This is a thing that I like obsess over is the definition of personal responsibility and how it went from taking responsibility for the way you affect people and your impact on them to only taking responsibility for what affects you.
Right.
It's like a complete perversion of the concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the worst thing I've ever seen, which is an essay about personal responsibility in like the new something conservative, some conservative magazine, and they defined responsibility as the word response plus the word ability, which is etymologically bullshit.
Not it. No.
So bullshit.
You know how you spell ability? I-B-I-L-I-T-Y.
Responsibility is your ability to respond to shit. Dead serious. It's like, yeah, anyway. Anytime a conservative can take a phrase and then warp it by taking it like autistically literally, they will.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, this book that
That's
I'm
really
reading,
well said, dude.
Strangers in Their Own Land.
Yeah, Strangers in Their Own Land. Have you read it? Whatever. I'm only halfway through, so I don't know my verdict on it. But she talks about how they like allowed regulation to let this plant that was building there release like 10 million, I don't know, whatever the units are of like greenhouse gases.
Right.
But then they also issued to individual citizens like the guidelines for how to not contribute to emitting greenhouse
Right.
gases.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we should carpool, and it's just like comparatively, like the amount that you're affecting the world around you is so different.
I mean, that's the whole
But
like no
yeah.
straws bullshit. It's like that's
Right.
not gonna,
Yeah.
Oh, I know, it's so fucking annoying.
And it's like, okay, maybe fine, but that is not the fucking.
Well, my thing
But
is
it's
that
hard.
like I think
no, after you.
I'm just gonna say my thing is that, and I talk to Suzanne about this all the time because she comes from a household that like religiously recycles and stuff, and like cool, like recycle whatever. But like I think that a lot of these individual interventions for like ecological interventions, like reusable straws or whatever, it like gives you a little sense of political relief, like, oh, like I'm doing something good, and that saps you of political will to take significant actual action.
Well, it's like the same concept behind the soup kitchens, right? Like, oh, it's not
Right.
any larger entity that's allowing this on like a massive scale to occur because we can all look for like the small ways in which we can be helpful.
Yeah.
But it's also confusing. Like, I get confused in terms of the sense of moral absolutism. Like, do I want my office to recycle? Yes. Do I abstain from eating meat? No. Am I like actively engaging in the ways in which those things are comparably
Everyone has to
integrated
be a
into?
hypocrite. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Or
it's
you'll
like
die.
fucked up to be like, you use a straw and fuck you, but like I drive a privately
Right.
owned vehicle.
Right.
So I don't know. That
You
part
just
is like-
negotiate. That's
Yeah.
why it's like you call people out for things that are just objectively morally wrong, but like you also just have to let people reconcile their own relationship with waste and recycling and like whether or not the way that we hurt the planet. Like you're a fucking asshole if you call anyone out for like individual consumer shit.
Right.
And
Definitely.
not like if someone has like terrible politics and thinks that the world is not like heating up and murdering us and that we're gonna die, then yeah, fuck those people.
Yeah.
But like if it's just so fucked up to be like, they're using a plastic bag. It's like, you don't know her life. Like, you don't know
Yeah.
what she's doing.
Well,
You
we
don't
also
know-
like let these larger entities off the hook, right? It's
Yeah.
sort of like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Stacey
exactly.
Patton wrote about like black parents who are violent towards their kids and how like they let the state off the hook because they're like, there's so much state imposed violence against black children that I have to which is descendant from slavery, of being like, if you act out, like the repercussions for you are so severe and like that they are a death, that I need to
I need
parent you in
to-
this severe
right.
way in an effort to protect you. But in reality, she came to New Orleans a couple of weeks ago and spoke and was just talking about how it lets these larger entities off the hook because we think about our own personal responsibility in protecting people, and then we don't engage in this like larger dialogue about how like institutions are either like fucking the planet or like murdering black children and all
Right.
of these things, and we
Yeah.
absorb our own
Totally.
responsibility.
just
And
making
you
us
zoom
fight
out
amongst each other.
like further from like these conversations, and it's like we're not in the global south, and like everything we're doing has so much more of an effect, and it's like ridiculous to think that like focusing on like individual like choices about like how you go about your day is going to affect shit to like in any meaningful way other than like dismantling.
But if that's within your locus of control on a daily basis, is it your obligation to?
I mean, to a degree.
So
I don't know.
and this is why. I mean, this. Sorry, did you have more?
No, keep going.
Like, this is my thing about like. I think that not only is it not your responsibility if like a small thing is in your locus of control to do. Like, I don't think it's your responsibility to use disposable straws. Fuck that. I mean, especially if it costs you more, which it almost always does. It's almost always more expensive to do the ecologically good thing. But also, sorry, the cat is
She
distracting
doesn't know
me.
where to put her paw.
She's like, this.
She's like,
Wires are bad. I don't actually remember what I was going to say. Something along the lines of, I think it actually has a negative effect. I think that people who recycle are less likely to go out into the fucking streets and be like, the world is melting. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I think, I mean, and even for me, like, I refuse to.
Terrible wine. Okay.
I refuse to give myself the relief of recycling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, you should probably still do it.
I know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But like, because I just because I know myself and I know the like smug satisfaction that I would take in it. Does that make? I'm desperately afraid of getting complacent by making these little consumer choices.
Jeff does
because I
that.
have the privilege of it.
Yeah, we recycle and like I think it's fine. That like I don't think it makes a difference because I still don't feel like it's doing anything. But Jeff definitely I think feels better. Also, anyway, sorry, I like jumped back in.
No, you're good.
Probably, yeah.
No, that's. I think that was completely conversationally appropriate.
Yeah, I agree that it can do that. I also think it can't hurt or really it can't help. Like there's just so much waste. And it's one of those things where, of course, if everyone did recycle, it would make a dent, but not that much of a dent.
But even if it did make a dent, if you are expecting people on a global scale to act against their financial best interest, you're fucking smoking.
Wait, is recycling acting against their financial best interest?
Time is money. A lot of people just don't have the time to sort their recycling. People don't have the time to fucking wash their
cans.
Yeah, or whatever.
I mean, we really only recycle boxes and cans. Like, we don't recycle shit that's like has food on it. You know, we just throw it away.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
But even so, like, I mean, like buying like Myers Clean Day soap or whatever. You just like.
Oh, it just smells so good. I
really,
love Myers
yeah.
products.
We use the geranium.
I love Myers. Yeah, and also their spray. I love to clean counters with that stuff.
Yeah.
It leaves it smelling so good.
But it's also expensive as fuck. I mean, that's like the right because and like anyway.
I mean, it is, although cleaning products last a long time. So it's like, I buy like Dawn soap. I feel like buying Myers dish soap is much more expensive than buying Myers like countertop spray.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do love Myers products. But I agree. If you're doing it not because it smells amazing,
right.
And makes your house smell good, and if because you think it's like helping the world, then you're a dipshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We hired these fucking dipshits. So I work at a public school full of French teachers. The same one. I work at a different campus than your man, and I am the extended day site manager, which means that I oversee like after school activities. So I was interacting fairly regularly with these people that were hired out because, I mean, other schools hire these people, but they're a contracted company that puts on pep rallies to raise money for events. So they take 50% of what you raise. So to just like raise the money and get students hype and get them to tell their parents to donate. So they had a fun run, and it's for the athletics department. So we raised $17,000, which means we raised $34,000. Mm-hmm. I asked the principal, I was like, so did we really only raise 8,000 or ish? And she was like, no, we raised 34. We put 17,000 because that's all of our profits, which is a lot of money for 2 fucking weeks. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of wealthy parents at the school, even though it's public school. So anyway, so the day of the fun run, all week they had these dumb pep rallies. There was this white guy named MC Eric who would rap. Oh, and one of the kids referred to him. I heard whenever the kids would make fun of them, I never corrected them. Like but I heard one of them call him a bootleg Eminem, which I thought was pretty good for 6th grade. And then on the last day, me and the bookkeeper, who's like, we're both like not bad at our jobs, but we're both like, these fucking kids. Like we're both shit talking the kids on our lunch duty, and we love them, but you know they're annoying. And then we hear like Christ is coming back, and this guy is rapping about Jesus Christ, and we were like, ah! And I just like charged the stage. I was like, no God stuff, no God. It is no God. Public school, public school. So I'm just screaming, no God.
Here we teach children that there is no God.
No God.
No God stuff.
And I was like, it was just so much fun to just be like, oh, you're wrong, and I have the law on my side, sir. It was very, very fun. Sorry, I hope you don't have to tone me down.
No, you're good.
But
stuff bad, butt stuff good.
God stuff
Public
bad.
school.
And then they were like, okay. And we could tell the whole time that there was something wrong with them. I texted the principal. I was like, by the way, you boys were just singing about Christ coming back. And she was like, oh, goodness. When I met them, I had an inkling that they were like that. And also, they're mostly contracted by Christian schools. But she was like, there was that, and also like they didn't overtly mention it, and like they have a secular company title, and they have like nothing. There was no religious messaging. When I told the French disciplinarian about the incident, he looked down at his shirt because they had given us all free T-shirts to make sure there were no crosses or anything. Like we were all like checking our clothes, like, is there a secret cross somewhere? Like we were freaking out.
Like there's a bee on you.
Yeah, because they're sneaky Christians, and we've been like, it's really freaky to realize, because I thought that they were weirdos, but I just thought it was because they worked for like a contracted company to do pep rallies at schools. Like you have to be a certain type of sad loser to do that.
Yeah.
Or just know how to act like one at work.
Right.
But it seemed like they really liked it. Like when they were leaving, like even when there were no kids around, they were just like, man, this is so cool. And I'm just like, ugh. And they're not and also they weren't unattractive. So I was like, oh man.
That's the uncanny valley.
You definitely think, as
Hot
the nurse
Christians.
said, as the nurse said, and I love the school nurse, she was like, yeah, no one's that happy unless they think that they're going to die and go to heaven.
Right.
Yeah.
Positive hot people are the worst fucking
Dude,
people.
yeah.
Everyone, okay, so when I was in college, I'm telling myself a little bit. When I was in college, there was a coffee shop that I went to all the time, and everyone who worked there was an extremely hot hipster woman. And
Highland Coffees.
yeah, and I was extremely
You
attracted to
called
all
it
of
Carl's harem because the owner, wasn't that the owner's name?
it wasn't Carl. I can't remember his name. It started Clark.
Clark.
Yeah. He like hired me eventually.
And then a bunch of hotties.
Yeah, he had like 2 token men and then 24 beautiful women.
And the men were hot too.
Yeah.
But you were cool and aloof, right?
You were hot. Everyone wanted to fuck you. And you were hot.
Relative to Stefan, though, that dude.
He was very hot. He
he's
married
so
Jennifer
beautiful.
Lawrence,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
the actress, another
different
girl
one.
named Jennifer Lawrence.
But is her name Jennifer, really?
Yeah.
Jen Lawrence. Yeah, you're right. I got to cut so much stuff. Anyway.
Why? You just said they were hot.
Yeah. Anyway. I didn't realize this at the time, but like everyone was Christian.
Yeah.
It was like, I was like, oh my God, I finally, like after our freshman year where I like was like hanging around people in sororities who like did not give a fuck about me because I was not it's just like my virtues were not prized in the communities and I was that I was running in, and then I was like, oh my God, here's this like fucking hipster loser paradise. It's awesome. And they were all Christian.
But were they all
Christian
Christian and abstaining from things that make you ugly? Is it like the Utah effect where everyone's Mormon but they don't drink caffeine or alcohol or cigarettes?
No, they
certainly drink caffeine.
No, they drank alcohol
Yeah, and they
too.
also drank, yeah.
And they smoked weed. They just like didn't. I think that they like quietly didn't believe in abortion because I was in a women's studies class with one of them, and they definitely liked gay people, and they liked they were like the cool Christians, and but they also like, I think. That's one thing that you cannot get a Christian like hipster to reconcile with is abortion. They're still very bad about that, except for some Episcopalians.
I mean, yeah.
I know some pro-choice Episcopalians.
I grew up Episcopalian.
Oh, you did?
I can't speak for all of them, but
That's interesting to me how it's so... wait, what were you going to say?
I was going to talk about Liz Brudig again.
Oh, okay.
So you guys.
Well, she hates abortion.
Well, that's the thing.
Which is
but
annoying.
she has the
Worst take.
No, she has. I think she has the best take of all of the anti-abortion people, which is that like if anytime someone has an abortion solely because they can't afford to have a kid, that is a tragedy, and that's a problem with capitalism. Which I think is totally reasonable.
Disagree.
Disagree.
Recreational abortions. Honestly,
I
for real.
disagree.
Fuck it.
I really
It's
disagree.
birth control.
I think that,
It's fucking birth control.
I think that the idea... I think that
if someone, sorry,
I don't think that you understand how complex it would be. Like, she's someone who wanted to have a family because she's a fucking Christian, and that's a part of it.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think that like she's a woman, so she can understand it more. But there's so much complexity in like the choice that there's no one. I don't know if there's a lot of people that can really isolate like that number.
Isolate the economic
versus the emotional versus the like biological like need feeling that when you are pregnant you should want it, because like I've always thought I would have an abortion, but I really don't know if I would until I get pregnant.
Right.
And so I don't know. It makes me very mad. Anyone who's anti-abortion makes me very mad. I don't think there's a real way to be anti. I mean, I like a lot of her politics.
Yeah.
I hope that she has a wonderful life, and I think that she's a good person, but I hate that about her, and it drives me crazy because she's such an influential person. And she also, I like see what she likes on Twitter, and she follows accounts that are fucking virulently shaming abortion people.
Okay.
And she'll like their things about like, oh, I hope my grandbaby lives. And I'm like, even though it's just that, even though she's not liking their like hateful rhetoric that contributes to abortion doctors getting murdered, I'm like, you're not on my fucking team. You and your stupid husband can go fuck yourselves, because anti-abortion is fucked up to me. But I don't know.
So
I think I respect her.
But you don't think that if someone like wants a kid, is pregnant, wants a kid, and has an abortion because they can't
that
afford
is a
it.
tragedy, but that's so little.
That's an
so
economic tragedy. That's not a tragedy around abortion.
No, of course.
Yeah,
I
agree.
But like, it's someone who wants something for themselves, and
if that is a case for any kind of social social net expansion, yes, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
But if it's about abortion at all, I just think that that's the same. It's a tragedy if someone. Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think that. I'll stop talking in 1 second. I just don't think that. I think that it doesn't matter what you actually think about like the moral content of abortion if you think it should be legal because people will die if it's not.
I agree. I agree, as long as you protect people's rights to free. People don't have free abortion now, but as long as you work towards having free abortion and think that you want to protect people's rights, I really don't care what you think morally about it.
Yeah.
But I don't think feels like.
If you would like to keep kosher, I don't keep kosher. If you would like to keep kosher, but you can't because you can't afford it, that fucking sucks. Yeah. That is my position on.
Oh, I agree. But here's my thing. I just think it's kind of a straw man, because to have that position as a Catholic person who hates abortion is just being it's just a way to be anti-abortion in progressive, redistributive economic terms. Like even Hillary Clinton 5 years ago, or like 7 years ago, her slogan for abortion was safe, legal, and rare.
Right.
And like it was everyone who loves abortions lady.
That's how I like my steak, honestly.
Yeah.
There's lots of reasons people don't have abortions, and some of them are related to like lack of economic resources, which is a travesty, but also like the idea of abortion being wrong is tied to this idea of like the patriarchy, which affects people regardless of their economic status. And like seeking to only understand it through this very specific economic lens that disregards that has this like moral sense of it that's like, well, you're always killing a baby, applying a certain sense of morality to it.
Yeah,
that's like,
I'm nodding.
I'm feeling badly strawmanned. I'm not saying that is my entire.
I don't know what the strawman thing means.
It just means like
an argument that you're throwing out that sounds sexy but has nothing to do with what you're talking about.
An argument that it's you are re-articulating someone else's argument inaccurately because it's easier to attack than their actual argument, which I don't think that you're doing on purpose, but I just feel mischaracterized. I'm not saying that that's the only way to view it. I'm just saying that if in these specific circumstances where people who don't want to have abortions have them because capitalism, that fucking sucks. Yeah,
I agree that that's bad.
Because
participating in the rhetoric, it's like that's the only time when it's not okay.
By their own moral lights, it doesn't matter what the fuck I think about abortion. If by their own like ethics, like they think it's evil, but they do it, but they are forced to do it because of structural reasons, that fucking sucks. And like I said, speaking of negative mental health outcomes, that's a big one. Feeling like you fucking killed someone.
Go.
I mean, I think that hypothetical and sometimes real situation is objectively bad. But I just feel like you probably don't need to
mentioning
really
it does contribute to anti-abortion rhetoric, I think.
Yeah. I think, being like, I've decided when it's okay and when it's not okay. I think that at any time when you are like participating in a narrative that other people's choices are wrong and failing to understand that there are reasons people might seek out. Or
I don't even think it necessarily says that the choice they made was wrong, just that it's like a tragic thing to happen.
That no one should be in that position.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just.
But to me, that's not an abortion argument. That's just a money argument.
Exactly.
That's just a redistributive economic policy argument.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So then why even mention it in a conversation about abortion? If we were talking about redistributive economic policies and talking to a Catholic, and if we were saying, hey, you're a Catholic conservative, women are being forced to have abortions because of economic necessity, doesn't that bother you because you're appealing to someone who's already anti-abortion? Then it would make sense argumentatively.
Right.
But if you're talking to someone who's already...
Okay, so this is helpful. I spend so much time arguing with pro-life people
Yes,
about
that's
abortion.
where you're coming from.
I'm always in that
You're
headspace.
wired. Yeah. So you're wired to be like, think about how this. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. I see that now. If we were talking to a different audience, that would be a valuable talking point. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it's also challenging to like talk to you about this as someone who doesn't believe that abortion is inherently wrong, because like, I don't know, whatever underlies that belief is not present, right? You're just being like, someone who believes this is okay, but I totally fail to understand the way this woman who I've never met but I've heard has a Twitter like believes about X, Y, and Z, and it's like, well, yeah, I don't know if it's related to like a personal narrative or towards like this idea of life beginning. So it's like totally hard to like fight something when you don't know, when no one in this room believes it.
I know.
Yeah, everyone.
You don't want to talk to Tippy about this.
Everyone that I love who is pro-choice is, in my mind, just because of the way brains work, an analogy for someone that I loved earlier in my life who was pro-life. Like every pro-choice person is just like this is getting pretty abstract, but
I get what you mean. I grew up in like a very like liberal fucking like it's. Minneapolis thinks it's progressive. It's super neoliberal and bullshit. So I grew up around that, and it was very rare for me to have affection for people with straight up just awful, shitty beliefs. And I think I immediately just decided to write those people off when I was like 8.
I mean,
so.
I think it was like probably the first argument that we had on the podcast, and I don't think we released the episode, but it was Benjamin talking about how you should just like dismiss,
abandon people,
abandon the people you love if they have bad takes, and it's just like, oh, my entire family would be dead to me.
Yeah, which I think is like fine that you can't do that. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like I can't.
If I said should, I was probably wrong, but I think it's fine if you do.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree that if they're, I mean, I think that what I believe is like, you have no loyalty to people that make you like feel like shit, and if your family does that, then you should leave them.
Right.
And also, like, I keep coming back to this, but it's like the way to beat these people is to just get what you want done and show them that it's better.
Yeah.
Because
to build power
it
among
is
people that
better.
agree with you. Yeah.
Utterly crush them into having a better life.
I don't think that we need to. I don't think we need to make friends with right wing people.
I don't know though. I think
Benjamin is left
But I also
authoritarian.
don't think that you need to
way
kill
more
your
nuanced
parents.
than that. Like, I don't know. I work with someone who this recently came up, and I have had a number of clients who their parents, who I work with as well, have expressed to me like homophobic, transphobic beliefs.
Right.
And like these are people, like I view the criminal justice, juvenile justice system as like a tool of racial oppression, right? Like there's no like seeking of law and order.
Right. Of
It like
course.
seeks to put people of color down, right? And these people who I am advocating for, because like, and I do school-based advocacy, and we also do like case management and just seeking to essentially the better your life looks, the better court goes. And parents who have been like, oh my gosh, Nell, this gay guy was trying to get my kid into some after-school program. Like, how's he going to learn to be a man from a woman who acts like a man? I've been at school meetings. This is a number of times. It's not like isolated to a single person. Like, I've been at school meetings where a student who is a client of mine has been like exposed to what I conceptualized to be like homophobic attitudes by administration and by staff, and the parent and the administrator have agreed that that is okay. So like as an advocate for like parents maintain legal rights. And I was having this conversation with a coworker about being like, my coworker, there's 2 social workers where I work and I am one of them, and the other one She is Black. She's from New Orleans. So I just asked her, I was like, hey, do you mind if I ask you this question? Because I feel in so many ways I don't seek to be like neo-imperialist or whatever with my views, but I really struggle with talking with parents who have these views, but also recognizing that we have such vastly different identities. How can I not seek to be like elitist, right? Or how can I like engage in a conversation that feels like,
should I ignore it for the
promoting?
sake of
Like what I was just like, what do you do?
Right.
And are you okay with answering this? And we were chatting about it a little bit, and then a coworker walked in, and he is Black and also from here, and he was like, sort of joined in the conversation. He was like, oh, I don't want my daughter to be around people like that though. Mm-hmm. And we were all like, yeah,
interesting.
Would it be? And I was just like, could I ask you more questions about that? Because we are like friends and we work together, and he does remarkable work for kids who sometimes are accused of violent crimes. Like not everyone's on their side, and he is. And I was like, do you mind if I just like ask you some questions? Because this is really surprising for me. Mm-hmm. And I asked him about it, and he was like, I just don't think that like gay people should be around my kids. And like I was like trying to seek to understand. I was like, is it that, like, tell me more. And he's like, well, it's fine if you're around them, but just don't be that way in front of them. And I was like, could you tell me more? Like, what does it mean to be your sexual identity? Yeah, I know you're laughing. I don't know. I was just trying
I'm not laughing. It's just your patience in this anecdote is
yeah, and he mentioned, he was like, well, like, I just don't want like two men kissing in front of my kid.
Probably won't happen in an after-school program. Yeah.
And I was like, do you feel like okay with anyone exposing like intimacy or like something that might be sexual around? And he was like, yeah, like a man and a woman, but it's not natural, and like that's why we don't want like people who are alcoholics around.
Yikes.
But I don't know. But in many ways, it's way more complicated than being like, fuck you, I don't think you should work here.
Oh, of course.
There are people who we work with, not everyone who's involved in the juvenile justice system has committed a crime. Kids are always involved who have nothing to do with it. Some of our kids have committed violent crimes, and he stands with them. So where is my role in saying, like, this is okay? Or, like, the role that you play in people's life who maybe... What if our clients agree with you? Do I have the right to be like, that's fucked up? I don't know. It's just... I think complicated. I don't know.
It's complicated for sure.
It was like
but
a long
I think
story.
they're like...
No, it's really interesting.
I think you have to just come from a patient but still genuine point of view, because like this person eventually is going to have to like help a gay kid.
And okay, so this also brought into this conversation. We have clients who are trans, who are gay, and who experience discrimination related to that. If you say this doesn't affect your work and you never express those beliefs to our clients, does that matter? Or is it like equivalent with racism, where we believe like if you are in the KKK, you can't work here? I don't care if you never bring it up at work, but is it impossible for you to harbor racist beliefs and then work in a way that's non-racist? And how is that equivalent to the LGBTQIA community?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
I don't know either.
Like, yeah, I mean, at
No
this
one
point,
knows.
it's like, yeah, I mean, people fucking write dissertations about like how to measure harm. From a utilitarian perspective, like if they do more good than harm, then it's probably okay. But like they're in a position where they could do tremendous harm if they get the wrong client. You know, like
I guess like I probably just don't understand how this shit works, but just having an organization be like, this is transphobia, this is homophobia, and you can't do it in your job even if you think it, like, is the only way to avoid that. But that probably doesn't really.
And that is like explicated in the mission and in all these things. But just
well, then I feel like as long as that person isn't, like you were saying, if they're like abiding by that actually and not like sneaking in little horrible things, then I guess it doesn't matter how bad they are in their home and in their opinions. But
I mean, I think it does absolutely matter.
it matters, but
it's
you
not
can't
the
do
most
anything about
prescient
it.
thing.
Like
Right.
you just have, like, I mean, I think that putting that on yourself would just be soul crushing.
well, I am not these people. Like I am not. It would never be my role in any like imagination to deal with that. But is it someone's role? Like I don't.
Yeah.
Not that it would be me as like a peer to someone to seek to do that. But is it an organization's role? Like. I don't know.
To vet
Do we
people
believe
for
that you
that?
can engage in discussions? And is it neo-colonialist? I keep saying that word, but is it
No, it's the
to
it's
be
the
like
word.
we are an organization that are run by people that are not from here, that don't represent our client base, and I have this belief, and you are more like identity-wise similar to a client base, but this is what you have to believe. Like, at what point and in what structure do we agree with that? Is it like the racial identity? Is it the gender identity? Is it like beliefs about abortion? And how across the board are we about our beliefs and who should believe what? I don't know.
I don't know either. It's
know.
really, it's something I'm going to think about forever now, because I don't have to deal with that really in my job. Sometimes the times I bite my tongue about these things are definitely times when I feel like I can have no effect, because I'll just be viewed as someone who's like had a just completely different, which is true. Like, I just like came from a completely different place and had the ability to, I don't know, I can't. Anything I say is just going to sound like the dumbest shit in the world about this, because people who are not, it's so easy to hate, like, you know, racist white girls who went to Sacred Heart. And that's, I think, like, it's so easy to just be like, fuck you. And because we came from the same place, I know I'm very equipped to say that to them, and I know that they're very, very wrong. Now, if I'm talking to a homophobic black person from New Orleans, it is way harder for me, who, like, goes to church and, like, is doing a lot for kids. And because I have, like, met those people, like, in after school programs and stuff when I worked, like, with them 5 years ago. And it was, like, not in the capacity. It was, like, a 2-hour thing a day. It was never, like, I had any. So it was also, like, I would hear these things in passing, and I would just be like, I can't. I'm just, like, a peer with this person, and so it's not my job to say anything. And also, we're around a bunch of children right now, so I won't. But I definitely think it's different than if I heard some frat boy be like, you know, say someone was gay, then I'd be the big hero and be like, blah, blah, blah. But I just shut down when it's someone that I feel like I don't have a similar experience with, because I feel like they're more beneficial to the community than I am. So why would I? Yeah.
Or you mentioned this with, what's her name from California who's running for president? Sorry, the DA.
Kamala Harris?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
I'm like,
being like, it's not my
place. It's my place to be like, I hate her policies, but like,
but not to be like, for black people who support a black candidate, to be like, no, but what you don't see that I know,
yeah, exactly.
because like
This is-
I am me.
I just think you got to be honest.
I was gonna say I'm gonna rep Benjamin on this, which is well, this isn't a Benjamin thing, but I think he probably agrees. If you are not directly affected by the bigotry, like if you hear someone say something homophobic and you are not gay, it is your duty to at least be like, I disagree.
Right.
But,
Depending on the environment. I've definitely said that. Yeah. I've definitely said that in like at a bar.
Right. But the Benjamin thing that I really love that he said like several episodes again is it's fucking condescending to just not be honest with someone because, right? Is this your thing?
I mean, that's sort of how I view the world.
It is,
It's like,
yeah.
There's a lack of respect.
You want to not be paternalistic and you don't,
to not say something because you're like, I don't want to step, like, I'm coming.
But if you're building a
aware of those
relationship,
things for
but if you're building a relationship with someone that like, because I can think of like a million different, like, there will be people that say shit to me in semi-professional environments where I'm like, okay, I'm going to see this person again. Yeah. So I could either call this out now and completely diminish my ability to have a conversation with them about this, or I could recognize that what I was saying was like, depending on who the person is, if they are someone who actually like has the ability to affect change in a meaningful way, it's more important for me to figure out how to externalize my beliefs over time.
But that's a calculation where you're like, I can maintain the relationship and do more good that way. I mean, you're still making the calculation of how can I act on this.
Right.
And
it's not to say no that you shouldn't like engage in this dialogue. Like with this particular person, I was like, this is so hard for me to understand your point of view because for me, whatever. I mean, it was like, I don't see two men being together as unnatural, more like comparable to alcoholism. So, and I said, I was like, it's really hard for me to hear these two things compared, but at the same time, like when you were discussing like cutting people out of your life, and this is different because it's like in a professional environment, right? That I don't necessarily have that choice, but about being like, do I write you off and delegitimize all the ways in which for other people who are being oppressed, who we work for, you serve? does that like affect my sense of the work you do? I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it totally
I don't
does.
know.
Yeah.
I also think, and this is less relevant to Nell than it is to you, and I don't actually think that you do this very often, but I think that if someone, again, in the hypothetical where it's like something that doesn't affect you, someone says something homophobic and you're straight, although I know that that's not the case entirely.
I'm marrying a man.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is not only is it your duty to say something, it is basically cultural appropriation to say fuck you, because that belongs to people who like it is your job to try to compassionately correct the behavior rather than vent on them.
Right.
It's not yours to vent.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will say, when I say fuck you, I'm sort of shortening writing someone off. Whereas if someone is a wealthy white Republican, I don't really feel like I'm going to change their mind or engage with them.
I think this is going to sound pretty hippy-dippy woo-woo bullshit, but like, I think you can engage with someone's, you can, it's important to remember that you can like convey like that you give a fuck about a person, but you don't like their idea.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can have those things. You can.
You don't have to like be silent about being like, I don't see this the same way as you.
I think saying like fuck everything you just said is not the same thing as like I want you to have a bad life.
Right.
Like,
yeah, but what if that? But if you say that, they'll probably hear it that way.
Well, if you say I love you, but fuck everything you just said,
Yeah.
I've said that before.
Or being like,
almost
I
verbatim.
see this totally differently than you do. But
which is a great way to say it. Yeah.
Well, we have been recording for 2 hours.
for our whole lives.
And 25 minutes.
And 25 minutes. And I probably want to get it below 90. So I think that we could probably stop.
Yeah. Thank you, Nell. That was really
Thank
fun.
you for
Yeah, no,
coming
this
on
shit
the
kicked ass. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to plug?
Yeah, do you want to...
Any
absolutely not. Look at my
Benjamin, is there anything you want to plug other than your own butt?
Stamps.com.
All right.
Comedy Fuck You every Friday. at
Comedy Fuck You every
Dragon's
Friday at Dragon's Den. Saturday at Always Lounge.
Stamps.com.
hear
Thursdays
my
at
bones?
Sydney's. Okay. Goodbye.
Peace.